The champagne glasses were clinking. 65 candles glowed across my mother-in-law's custom 3-tier cake. And in the seat of honor, next to my husband, sat his mistress, not hidden, not subtle, not embarrassed. She was smiling, wearing the brooch I had gifted my mother-in-law 5 years ago. And that's the moment I realized something very important. They thought I was trapped. They thought I would sit there, smile, swallow it. They had no idea I was about to leave and take everything with me. If you've ever been publicly disrespected by someone who thought you had no options, this story is going to hit hard. So before we get into it, subscribe for more real-life revenge stories where dignity wins and arrogance loses. Now, let me tell you about the night my marriage ended and my real life began. I married Daniel when I was 28. He was 34, polished, ambitious, the golden son of a wealthy real estate dynasty. His mother, Lorraine, ran their family like a private corporation. Cold smile, diamond bracelets, opinions about everything. From the beginning, I was never quite enough for her. Not refined enough, not connected enough, not from the right kind of money. What she never understood was this. I didn't need their money. By 32, I was earning just under $3 million a year as a corporate attorney, specializing in high-stakes mergers. I didn't talk about it much. Daniel preferred when people thought his success defined the household. And I let him have that illusion. For years, about 6 months before Lorraine's 65th birthday, Daniel started changing. Late meetings, new cologne, phone face down at dinner. You know the signs. That quiet shift in energy where the air in the room feels dishonest. One night, I reached for his phone to check the time. He grabbed it too quickly. And I knew. I didn't scream. I didn't confront him. I hired someone. Within 2 weeks, I had photographs. Daniel, holding hands with a 29-year-old event planner named Chloe. Daniel, kissing her outside a boutique hotel. Daniel, paying her rent. What hurt wasn't just the cheating. It was the arrogance, the assumption that I would never leave. Because Lorraine had always reminded me, you married into security, dear. Women don't walk away from this family. That sentence echoed in my head for weeks. Women don't walk away. I decided I would, but not impulsively, strategically. Lorraine's 65th birthday was being held at the Grand Meridian Hotel ballroom. Black tie, 300 guests, city council members, business partners, family friends. The family image was everything. And 3 days before the party, I received a seating chart draft. My name wasn't next to Daniel. I stared at it. Instead, next to him was Chloe M. I blinked. Then I zoomed in. Seat of honor, right beside Lorraine. My seat had been moved to the far end of the table, next to Daniel's teenage cousin. My heart didn't race. It slowed. They weren't hiding it. They were announcing it. I wore a fitted midnight blue gown. Simple, elegant, controlled. Lorraine adored expensive jewelry. So 5 years ago, I had gifted her a vintage sapphire brooch from an estate auction in Geneva. It was rare, easily worth 6 figures now. When I walked into the ballroom, I saw it immediately. Chloe was wearing it, pinned to her chest. Lorraine had given it to her. The symbolism was deliberate. Guests were whispering. Daniel avoided eye contact. Lorraine kissed Chloe's cheek and said loudly, "You look radiant, darling." My pulse thudded in my ears. And then Lorraine spotted me. "Oh," she smiled thinly. "There you are. I assumed you might be uncomfortable." Uncomfortable, like I was being dramatic. Daniel leaned toward me and whispered, "Please don't make a scene." The audacity. In that moment, something inside me shifted. Not anger. Clarity. I straightened my spine, smiled at Chloe. Then I leaned down slightly and spoke softly enough that only Lorraine and Daniel could hear. "I hope you both understand what this costs." Lorraine laughed lightly. "Don't be ridiculous." I picked up my clutch, turned, and walked out. No tears, no gelling, just the quiet click of my heels across marble. By the time I reached my car, my phone was vibrating nonstop. "Daniel, you're overreacting." "Lorraine, don't embarrass us." Unknown number. "Chloe." Blocked. The next morning, I filed for divorce. But here's what Daniel forgot. We had a post-nuptial agreement, one he insisted on. It protected family assets, but it also had an infidelity clause. And I had proof, extensive proof. He would keep his inherited trust fund. But everything we built during marriage, including his company shares that had tripled in value, those were marital assets. And I was entitled to half, plus damages under the clause, plus reimbursement for financial misconduct. When his lawyer saw the evidence file I delivered, she went quiet. Very quiet. 2 weeks later, something interesting surfaced. Chloe wasn't just a random affair. Lorraine had encouraged it. She believed I was too independent, too financially powerful. She wanted someone easier to control. Chloe had been promised stability, but Daniel hadn't told her about the post-nup, or the clause, or the fact that his liquidity would be destroyed if we went to court. Suddenly, Chloe wasn't smiling. 3 months into proceedings, Daniel requested mediation. He looked exhausted. "You're ruining everything," he said. I folded my hands calmly. "No," I replied. "You did that when you chose humiliation over honesty." He thought I would beg. He thought I would negotiate from desperation. Instead, I negotiated from documentation. I didn't ask for emotional apologies. I asked for numbers, precise ones. By the end, I walked away with asterisk a 7-figure settlement, asterisk 40% equity buyout in his company, asterisk full ownership of our Manhattan apartment, asterisk and the sapphire brooch returned. Chloe left him shortly after. Turns out luxury isn't attractive when it's leveraged. Lorraine hosted a small private dinner 6 months later. No press, no spectacle, just family. I received an invitation. Curious, isn't it? I attended. Simple black dress, minimal jewelry, the brooch pinned delicately at my collarbone. Lorraine noticed immediately. Her jaw tightened. Daniel wouldn't meet my eyes. Halfway through dinner, a relative asked politely, "So, how are you doing these days?" I smiled. Better than ever. I recently made partner at my firm, and I've invested in 3 new developments. Silence. Controlled. Measured. I didn't gloat. I didn't taunt. I simply existed successfully. Lorraine's social circle had quietly shifted away from her. The scandal had cost reputation. Daniel's company valuation had dipped after he liquidated shares to settle. The image they tried to preserve collapsed anyway, and I didn't have to destroy it. They did. I just refused to protect it. Here's the truth. Revenge doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like walking away without flinching. Sometimes it looks like letting people underestimate you and then handing them the invoice. Public humiliation feels devastating in the moment, but dignity maintained under pressure? That changes the power dynamic forever. I didn't win because I hurt them. I won because I stopped playing their game. If this story gave you that quiet, satisfying kind of chill, hit like and subscribe for more real-life revenge stories where intelligence beats cruelty. And tell me in the comments, if you were in that ballroom, would you have stayed and confronted them? Or would you have done exactly what I did? Walked out and cashed out